I remember how the world smelled the first time I woke up in my old body. Rain on hot stone, the metallic tang of coffee, and the faint, familiar scent of my mother's perfume locked away in a drawer I hadn't opened in 10 years. Memory flooded me then, not the hazy grief of a life half-lived but the cartography of every slight, every injury, every calculation I had been too young to complete. They call rebirth a miracle. It is a debt instrument. You wake with a balance sheet of what you owed yourself and the exact amount you plan to collect. I remembered the faces with the kind of cold clarity that makes one useful in dangerous rooms. Among them was Lucien Voss, lawyer, predator, the man who believed I had ruined the life of the woman he loved. Once before I learned the weight of patience, I would have tried to explain. I would have begged, promised, made my misery a theater he could pity. I am older by a few stolen years now. Older means fewer illusions and more tactics. I had 4 things then. My name, a crumpled photograph of my father that smelled faintly of pipe tobacco, a head full of strategy, and the memory of how he had looked at me when he thought I'd taken everything he valued. He had looked at me as if I were a crime. I retreated. Deliberately. I withdrew like a cat folding into shadow because power that breathes loudly attracts knives. I did not vanish from his orbit by accident. I stepped out of lines of sight, rumor and absence, doing what I had refused to do with cheap speeches. I let him believe I had bowed. Let him believe I had made peace. I let the world tell him whatever version of the story made him comfortable, that I was contrite, weak, finished. He wanted me to hurt. He wanted me to confess. He wanted to mold my apology into absolution for the one he had lost, and under that grief to harness me in his need like an amulet. Instead I watched him with a scholar's patience. From the quiet side of the room I catalogued him. The small callus on his thumb, the way he laced his fingers when he lied, how every time he came within reach of power he smelled of ozone and finished paper. He was efficient. He was dangerous. He loved like a man keeps ledgers, in quantities and claims. And then he became furious, not because I had hurt someone but because I would not love him.